We'll begin tonight with the nationwide protest by the Nigerian university lecturers over unattended demands. First, we go to Abia State, where members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike chapter, have joined in a nationwide protest by the body over alleged non-implementation of agreement by the federal government. News Center's Chinwe Ugele witnessed the convergence of the lecturers, where they chanted in solidarity and expressed their displeasure.
One among their grievances was their unattended welfare.
The federal government has trampled upon us. They have put us under their feet.
The state government is continuous, but in Nigeria, they finish one, they cut it off. We start all over again, they cut it off. I think we can no longer continue this way.
The chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Universities of Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike chapter, Professor Michael Ugwene, says the lecturers have been poorly treated by the Nigerian government.
Our salary has not been reviewed for more than 15 years. And yet we're working. They should sign the agreement we renegotiated. The report of the agreement we renegotiated, they should sign it. They should pay us our 3.5 months. They are owing us because we've done the job.
Some of his colleagues echo his position while threatening a showdown if government fails to heed their requests and fast too, especially with regards to their seemingly static remuneration.
A situation where a professor, and for the press, that means minimum of 12 years post-PhD experience. Minimum. Is taking home less than 500,000 naira in 1 month. And that message is enough is enough.
Religion, they say, is the opium of the masses, and that's exactly what played out at this gathering.
But we ask that you compel the government even to honor the agreement in the name of Jesus Christ.
Having knelt down today for you and asking the Almighty God in heaven, I beg of you, do the right thing.
This unresolved disagreement between the union and the federal government places a huge burden on the students who most likely lose time due to industrial actions, just as their parents who spend more money paying the bills in and out of school. In Omaha for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
And in Lagos, the UNILAG chapter of the Academic Staff Union of Universities asked to mobilize its members, noting that the nationwide rally is the first decisive response to the government continued inaction to its demands. The chairman, Professor Idowu Kainde, says the rally is being held across the country with academic activities suspended during the demonstrations. My colleague Omolola Ololade was there.
Chanting solidarity songs and carrying placards with various slogans on the importance of education, members of Academic Staff Union of Universities, UNILAG chapter, joined their colleagues across the country to embark on a demonstration as part of its effort to pressure the federal government in addressing its long-standing demands.
The government made promises on these issues, but regrettably, we are here today to inform the Nigerian public, through you, the press, that these undisputed issues could lead to a crisis in our educational sector.
For students, the rally is disrupting the ongoing examinations. They hope a strike will be averted to avoid further delays to their academic progress.
Everybody's out here for their own interest. My interest is to write my exams and finish up on time. So, and then what they are doing now is I'm supposed to have a paper today, but that has been cancelled, postponed for other times. And I'm hoping that this doesn't escalate before I'm able to finish my exams.
I want the government to pay up the lecturers so that they can teach and do what they are supposed to do. But then it is going to be of more disadvantage to the students. So the best thing is just for the government to pay up the lecturer and everybody will be fine.
While acknowledging that students are a priority, the lecturers emphasize that the strike is necessary to push better pay, benefits and infrastructure, which will ultimately benefit students and the education system as a whole.
When you have tutorial problem, financial issues, how do you stay well in the classroom and teach your students? Okay, so we also have to, understand ourselves. Just as we are fighting for them, they can also not be allowed to study under a dilapidated condition.
Our work is not like those of any other people, any other category of workers, whereby when they go on strike, everything is down. No. Even while I'm on strike, I am still working, I am still researching, I am still into community service. And by the time we come back, we now give extra lectures. At the time, I was teaching people physically as well as online to ensure we meet up with the schedule. So our students, we always take them into consideration and we'll do our utmost to ensure that they don't suffer in any way.
The focus will now shift to ongoing negotiations between ASU and the government. Stakeholders will hope that a mutually beneficial agreement will be reached to address the union's concerns and ensure student academic progress is not impacted. In Lagos for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
In Ekiti State, the University Lecturers Union also mobilized members for a rally. Academic activities at various universities in the state were brought to a halt following a peaceful demonstration by the lecturers. The demonstration took place simultaneously across all campuses, including Ekiti State University, Ado-Ekiti Bamidele Olumilua University of Education, Science and Technology, and the Federal University Oye Ekiti. The action was in response to unmet demands, as confirmed by the Akure Zonal Coordinator, Professor Adeola Agbetokun.
An end to the continuous pauperization of our members. Our salary, our take-home pay can no longer take us anywhere. Cannot take us away out of this campus. ASU has been patient, but our patience at this stage has become expired.
Government agreed to sign an agreement in 2009, saying that this agreement will be signed and be reviewed every 4 years. A simple arithmetic can show us how many 4 years can we now see between 2009 up to this moment. They are not ready, and they want to tell them that the time of honeymoon is over.
Because it has been brandished all over. The ASU hasn't gone on strike for the last 2 years because government has done everything for us. That is the lie that government is peddling out there. But I want to tell you, government has not done anything in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We can confirm that to you. Our silence for those years are not weakness. Our endurance is not submission. If government insists on continuing this path of betrayal, then it alone must carry the course of history. The ball is no longer in our court. It is squarely in the court of the government. Let them choose justice or judgment.
Away from the protest, let's now tell you that the new Speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly, Alfred Ebega, has suspended the immediate past Speaker and Dona Dago for 3 months over allegations that he attempted to impeach Governor Hyacinth Alia. The motion for the suspension was raised by Tena Shimawa, representing Kian constituency and supported by James Moru of Apa constituency. The suspended immediate past Speaker had previously suspended some other lawmakers amid heated leadership tussle during his tenure. News Central's Chizoba Anyowe, who is in Benue State, following the development, reports that the new Speaker presided over plenary for the first time on Tuesday.
Seconded by someone, there was no counter motion. There was no vote in the process. There was no vote in the process. The Speaker gavelled that suspension should be just reducing from 6-month proposal to 3 months. So that's the procedure. That's the procedure. We don't have those proofs, but
the person who moved the motion have the proofs, and the person who seconded also have the proofs. And the Speaker has ruled, and it is suspended.
Him of all persons, during his tenure as a Speaker, he has made several streams of suspension. The first 13 were suspended by him for 3 months. The other ones were suspended for 3 sitting recalled. Then other ones again were suspended, I think for 3 months again. So for the axe to be laid on him, he should understand.
Dugeri Dezungwe is a member representing Kwande West in the Benue State House of Assembly, and he joins me now for the ongoing leadership crisis in the Assembly. Thank you very much for being here. Let's start from the beginning. The House has been embroiled in controversy for months now. With this new development, are we seeing an end?
Yeah, crisis in the parliament is a normal parliamentary culture all over the world, you know, where people are and where they are doing genuine things. There are always some levels of disagreement. But I don't think there is even a major crisis in Benue State House of Assembly. The former speaker voluntarily resigned, and a new speaker has been emerged through a due process. And he is Right Honorable Mbega Bega, and has taken over the mantle of leadership. And we are hoping that he is going to steer the affairs of the House very seriously and to a very responsible direction. So I don't think there is any major crisis in the Benue State House of Assembly at all. The suspension of the former speaker, it was through a motion moved by one of the honorable members, and it was seconded. And you know, when there is a motion and it is seconded, it means that the secondment has given validation to it, and that has actually informed the speaker to rule. And he has a rule and agree with all the resolves of the motion, which one of them was suspension for 6 months, but he reduced it to 3 months.
Okay, but however you look at it, the name of the governor keeps coming in as, you know, maybe being part of the crisis. What can you tell us about this alleged plot to impeach the governor, and if that has anything to do with the situation?
No, the context of the motion that was moved for the suspension of the former speaker, the allegation was that there was an attempt to impeach the governor. That was the content of the motion, and it was seconded by another honorable member. And when there is a motion and there is a secondment, and there is no counter motion, the speaker reserved the right to rule. And in this case, he accepted all the resolves of the motion, which one of them was to condemn the act, and the second was to suspend the former speaker for 6 months, which he reduced to 3 months.
What are the constitutional grounds for suspending a former speaker of a state house of assembly? Is it some punishment for Dago for his alleged actions, or does it set a precedent for future legislative proceedings?
Yeah, in the wisdom of the mover of the motion, it was that the parliament is operated based on rules and regulation, and if you want to give any impeachment notice to His Excellency or to anybody, yeah, the whole House has to be carried along. And in this case, it's like the House was not carried along, the House was not aware of it. And the more the motion, I believe it has substantial evidence to support that. And that was why the motion was even seconded by another honorable member.
Yeah, I'm curious, though. It was 4 members of the Assembly that were suspended over alleged plot against the former Speaker, and a few hours later, that same Speaker was sacked and is now suspended, even though it was reviewed to 3 months. What explanation Can you provide for us for this drama, and what role did the lawmakers who were previously suspended by Dago play in his own suspension?
Incidentally, the 4 members that were suspended, one of them is the one that has emerged as the new speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly now. And the other one was actually the mover of the motion, and the other was actually the seconder of that motion. But they're moving the motion, it has nothing actually to do with their own suspension. Their suspension, it was in the wisdom of the former speaker. He believed that there was an attempt by those lawmakers to impeach him, which led to their own suspension. But now that he's no longer there, the new speaker that has come, having looked at the motion that was read on the floor of the House and seconded by another honorable member, having looked at the content of the motion and people must have done some groundwork, and maybe the speaker must have validated some of these allegations, and that is why he went ahead to sanction all the results that were in the motion.
Thank you very much for being here, Degiri. We'll continue with the news now. We'll return after the short break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Tonight on News Central. A reminder of our top stories. Nationwide strike imminent as university lecturers join forces to demand government's implementation of all agreements. Benue State Assembly Speaker suspends predecessor over alleged attempts to impeach Governor Hyacinth Alia. President Trump holds cabinet meeting amid brewing standoff at Federal Reserve following sacking of Governor Lisa Cook. Strategic defense collaboration and the role of artificial intelligence in modern warfare dominated discussions on day 2 of the African Chiefs of Defense Staff Summit in Abuja. Speaking to News Central's Sagi Ibrahim on the sidelines, some of the continent's defense chiefs shared key takeaways from the discussions, including growing recognition of AI and other digital threats. The defense chiefs say that the need to pool resources and draw on shared experiences in tackling similar challenges has become apt, utilizing essential tools for safeguarding Africa's stability.
We have come to understand that AI has come to stay, and that is even at its teething stage, and that there are more developments to come. The whole idea is that how can we look at the positive aspects and utilize it in terms of our military operations, and how can we look at the negative aspects so that as part of our collaboration we can counter it, especially if it has to be used by some terrorist groups. But AI has come to stay. It's in every aspect of our lives, and the military and the security setup cannot shy away from it.
The world has become a global village. The warfare state is changing. We've been talking about the normal foot soldiers against normal foot soldiers, or armor versus armor. Now we talk about even the introduction of drones. So the technology, artificial intelligence is coming in. So there's a lot that we have to learn from one another. The only approach for me is in this type of platform where we change, exchange knowledge, and then we have also to set up in our respective country or regions early warning systems.
The African continent must collaborate with other African countries to get the problems solved. And I often say that most of the problem is uniform to every African states. So they need to put their resources together, put their efforts together, harness on the resources and leverage on those issues that they can't handle, so other African countries can help them to handle it, and we are better to make sure to get these things solved. And I think Nigeria is in the right direction by offering this platform for us to come here and meet and have the discussion.
Security consultant Ben Garba has been a participant at the summit and joins me now for some of the items on the agenda. Thank you very much for being here. Let's start, though, with your original impression, the first 2 days of this summit, as to it meeting its target.
I think it's been an amazing 2 days thus far. The event has exceeded my personal expectations. I'd like to state that the organizers have done a very good job. It's going according to the objectives. I mean, in terms of the collaborations, the discussions that are being had, I personally believe that this event, this opportunity to collaborate and meet and talk with stakeholders across the region has been extremely useful, impactful, and is a very welcome development for us at this time.
Fair enough. Day 2 agenda was premised on artificial intelligence. What role can technology play in enhancing Africa's defense capabilities and collaboration? And what were some of the key messages that you got from today's conversations?
With reference to AI and tech are here to stay. The world has evolved from traditional ways of doing things, and things are changing really quick. AI has provided a very powerful tool for people to do the work they need to do with the support systems that the AI and technology, AI systems and technology provide. People are able to, research is quicker, communication is quicker, and then implementation. Just so much can be done. So AI is extremely valuable. I really do not know what the negatives of AI could be, but on the positive side, I would like to say that we have seen the enormous value it's added to how we work and how we will be working in the future.
All right, there's this submission ahead of the summit that they'll explore how a defense industrial base that is African in origin, African in design, and African in purpose can be built. Has that conversation come up yet?
The conversation has been ongoing in various quarters. On the sidelines, between individual participants, everybody's talking about this because it's long overdue. The reason that Africa has to step up to the plate as far as setting up this complex and providing these...
Sorry, I need to interject. Just hold on to your thoughts. Let's go on a short break. And when we come back, we'll continue with the interview. Please stay with us.
Okay.
Thank you for staying with us. We still have our guest, Ben Garba, who's a security consultant and has been at the ongoing Africa's first summit, Security Chiefs' first summit here in Nigeria, Abuja, the FCT. Before we went on that break, quickly, you were talking about how we would build defense industrial base that is truly African.
So the need, we've over the years, we've had to rely on the West for a lot of our equipment and technology requirements. This puts us in a very complex situation where should geopolitics affect, or should a country decide, I just don't like Nigeria anymore, we could be vulnerable. We could find ourselves in a situation where they wouldn't sell to us the equipment we need. So there's been a pressing need for us to develop our own indigenous solutions to meet our equipment requirements and technology requirements. The conversation has been going on for quite some time, and this event gives a platform to sort of bring everybody in the same room. But over the last few years, this has been going on the sidelines. I mean, different organizations, different pockets, we've had different presentations, but this is an amazing opportunity for all of us as one continent to sit down, reflect on the disadvantages of continuously relying on foreign solutions, relying on the West.
All right, I think we have that issue again. Ben Garba, thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time. Staying on security matters, Kogi State Governor Ahmed Ododo has called on stakeholders for collaboration to address the security challenges in the state. The governor made the appeal while receiving security patrol vehicles donated by Prince Olatunji Olusoji Foundation at the state capital in Lokoja. Ododo believes security is a collective responsibility, thus appealing for support to tackle the menace.
Not do it alone. We need all hands to be on deck. We need our people's support so that we can better secure our state. You made this promise of supporting the government in fighting criminals to make sure our people sleep with their two eyes closed. Today, you have delivered the first batch of 7, equipped with all security gadgets for us to secure our people. I can promise that we're going to make best use of these security vehicles.
Security is everybody's business. Government cannot do it alone. And I've seen the fact that the governor has keen interest in the aspect of security and is doing a lot. But the truth is that as the government continues to do, they cannot do so much. And people like us who have the opportunity to complement the effort of government, we should do that because it is only in a secure environment investors can come into our state. And even those of our people in the diaspora, if you don't have a secure environment, they won't want to come back home. So I saw the need to complement the effort of government in the aspect of security by encouraging the government to provide logistics, cars and other security gadgets to protect the life of our people and the properties of our people, to make Kogi safe from crime and criminality. So when you see something, you say something. Intelligence matters a lot. The one part of security that will give breakthrough to our security agencies is part of information. When in your neighborhood you see something that's not good, you give information to the security networks, and that will help a lot in tackling the security challenges we have in our environment.
The Nigerian economy is beginning to show signs of meaningful progress. GDP and foreign direct investment are on the rise, and the naira has stabilized around 1,500 to the dollar. Fuel prices are easing and inflation is gradually declining. Yet, despite these improvements in key macroeconomic indicators, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group cautions that the journey is far from over. In its recent panel discussion titled "Staying the Course, Turning Economic Gains into Social Progress," the group emphasized that stability is merely the starting point. News Center's business correspondent, Chamon Dabeng, reports.
Of economic turbulence, the Nigerian economy is showing signs of relative stability, and the road ahead is beginning to take shape. In the second quarter of 2025, GDP growth is projected between 3.2% and 3.9%, outpacing earlier forecasts and signaling a rebound in business activity. The naira has steadied, inflationary pressures are easing, and key sectors like finance, energy, and agriculture are gaining momentum. Despite these improvements in Nigeria's macroeconomic indices, the growth remains slow nonetheless.
Some constraints kept coming up as constraints to productivity and growth for the private sector. I think the biggest one was access to credit for productivity, growth, and financial and business performance. I think those were big issues that came up, and we spent quite some time dealing with the issues of how the financial architecture of the country could support credit and finance. So I think that would be number one. One of the big takeaways is there's a lot of work that needs to still be done in terms of increasing access to lower interest rate credits for MSMEs and industrial financing credit to get manufacturing back on track.
In order to get the economy to improve, the federal government has implemented several reforms, with the most popular being floating of the naira and the removal of fuel subsidy. Several more are in the works, with significant progress seen in the tax reform bill, now signed into law, will be the least painful.
So what we are working on now is, one, trying to get the legal framework properly set out, including gazetting, publication of the law, and then implementation guidelines. Some of the provisions in the new law require that we write new regulations, for example, around electronic invoicing, tax ombud. To protect small businesses, you need to create a framework. So that process is ongoing. Our aspiration is that before the end of the year, December 31st, we have some of these properly set out, so that by January 1st, when the laws take effect, we can have a smooth, sail.
Yet the road to recovery is far from smooth. Inflation remains above 20% and still eroding household purchasing power. The naira has lost over 300% of its value in recent years, and debt servicing now consumes more than half of the national budget. To achieve stability, Nigeria must invest more in agriculture, education, and infrastructure. Experts say targeting 7% GDP growth by 2026 is achievable, but only with private sector collaboration and grassroots empowerment. In Lagos for News Central, I am Chamun Dabeng.
Outside Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo and the M23 rebel group have resumed peace talks in Doha, Qatar, amid escalated violence in the mineral-rich eastern provinces. The talks, mediated by Qatar, aim to review the implementation of a ceasefire agreement signed in July, but progress has been slow. Both sides missed important deadlines in August to finalize a comprehensive peace deal amid accusations of ceasefire violations by both parties. Qatari officials say the current discussions focus on establishing a monitoring mechanism for the truce, as well as arranging an exchange of prisoners and detainees. To one of our headliners, President Donald Trump held a cabinet meeting Tuesday following his announcement to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook over allegations of mortgage fraud. Trump took to social media overnight, declaring his intention to immediately remove Cook, citing claims of false mortgage application. However, Cook firmly maintains that the president has no legal authority to fire her, and her lawyer has announced plans to file a lawsuit challenging what they call an illegal action.
And in business, Nigeria has become Africa's second largest solar importer, with shipment hitting 1,721 megawatts in the year to June 2025, trailing only South Africa, according to energy think tank Ember. Overall, Africa's solar imports surged 60% year-on-year to 15,032 megawatts, with 20 countries setting records. Nigeria's solar growth, while not drastically altering its generation mix, offers big diesel savings as panels pay for themselves within 6 months. However, solar remains small compared to petroleum imports, while dwarfs solar by up to 100 times. The report comes as Nigeria considers banning solar panel imports to boost local production, a move critics warn could deepen the energy crisis. And cocoa futures saw mixed trading Tuesday, with New York contracts sliding nearly 5% on forecasts of rain in Ivory Coast, while London prices edged higher after a holiday closure. Weather volatility in West Africa remains central as earlier dry spells hit crop developments and fuel disease risk in Ghana and Nigeria. Ivory Coast cocoa shipments rose 5.9% year-on-year, but slowed from earlier gains, while Nigeria projects an 11% production drop in 2025-2026, Weak chocolate demand with Lindt and Barry Callebaut's cutting forecast has pressured prices. Still, tighter inventories and poor quality mid-crop beans in Ivory Coast continue to lend support. And on the NGX today, the local bourse maintained an upward trend for the second trading day of the week, continuing its recovery from its bearish streak in the week preceding. Market all-share index climbed by 0.23%. We have the all-share index now at 141,761.36. And yes, we are nearing the 90 trillion mark again. We've been there before. Definitely we can cross it again. The year-to-date return on NGX obviously outpacing inflation at 37.73%. Coming to sectoral performances, we are seeing a generally good performance, aside from insurance, of course, a pullback there from the bullish run it had a couple of weeks back. But banking is up, oil and gas is up, consumer goods is up, and industrial goods is up as well. That is a business update. I am Joanna Mustafa. Of course, up next, we have Doka bringing us sports.
In sports, Nigerian weightlifter Onome Omolola today won gold in the women's 53 kg at the ongoing Commonwealth Weightlifting Championships in Ahmedabad, India. The medal comes 24 hours after Ruth Nyong Asukwo won bronze in the 48 kilogram junior women category on Monday. Both women were part of the contingent that topped the medals table at the African Weightlifting Championship in Mauritius earlier in the year. The championship, which ends on the 30th of August, will determine qualification spots for next year's Commonwealth Games, scheduled for the 23rd of July to the 2nd of August 2026 in Glasgow, Scotland. In football, Nigeria's hopes of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup have suffered a major blow after first-choice goalkeeper sustained what seemed like a serious injury earlier today. In a South African Betway Premiership match away at Richards Bay FC, Nwabali was stretchered off the pitch in the 35th minute after being injured in action for Chippa United. The extent of the injury could not be immediately ascertained, but losing Nwabali will be a big loss to the Super Eagles, with crucial encounters against Rwanda and South Africa coming up in September. The Chippa United captain has been Nigeria's first-choice goalkeeper since the delayed 2023 Africa Cup of Nations last year, where he shone as the Super Eagles went all the way to the final. Now, the Super Eagles will report to camp in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State on Monday. And Madagascar's head coach Ronald Rakotondrabe is in shock after his side's 1-0 victory over Sudan, a result that sent the barrier through to their first ever African Nations Championship final. For much of the match, Madagascar played with 10 men but managed to break through thanks to Toki Rakotondrabe in extra time. Madagascar will now play Morocco in the final after the Atlas Lions defeated defending champions Senegal 5-3 on penalties. And that's a wrap on Sport Update. I am Udoka Njoku. Up next is entertainment with Sam Dandy.
Some dandies here with the latest entertainment. What are we looking at, Sam?
Well, I wish we had all the time to dive into a lot of them, but this one takes us out of Africa. Now, American singer Lil Nas X has spoken out after recent controversy. Now, he says your girl is going to be okay, y'all. After being released on a $75,000 bail, the 26-year-old sensation Lil Nas X just shared a message from the courtroom. Now, the Old Town Road singer confessed that the past few days were terrifying. He's pleading not guilty to 4 felony charges, 3 counts of battery on a police officer, and 1 count of resisting an arrest. Sources say he was picked up wandering nearly nude on Ventura Boulevard in just his cowboy boots and briefs, behaving erratically. And this one, of course, had police take him into custody. And, well, now at this point in time, we're looking forward to, of course, more updates on the matter. But let's see if he actually is charged for it or not. But I can imagine as a celebrity, honestly, when these things happen, it could dampen your image, you know, it could ruin it.
And we can't say what the issues are, but
some people suspect drugs.
Yes, that was where I was going. Drugs could be culpable, but then it is you that went to take that drug. So.
Well, let's move from that one. Ira Star, of course, is back in the news. Of course, now recently, the Afro Summer Queen, like we call her, hit Notting Hill Carnival 2025 with a surprise pop-up performance that turned heads and raised temperatures. Now, she's been hitting some of the world's biggest stages, this time in front of a buzzing crowd of 15,000. She delivered a stunning fourth set that, of course, included songs like Hot Body, fan favorites Rush, Commerce and Stability. Now, this marked her very first appearance at Europe's biggest street carnival, making it a debut that fans won't forget. Now, recently she was at Wembley Stadium opening for the incredible Coldplay, to now this surprise festival takeover, and it's proof of her rising global influence. Now, Afrobeats to the world, I like to say it all the time, but I'm a fan of Ira Star for sure. Young, and she's getting it, so I'm proud.
Yeah. Well, you know, congratulations to her and all that, but the minute you said Notting Hill Carnival, all I could think about was the movie Notting Hill and the soundtrack of that song lives rent-free in my head. So, congratulations, Ira Star.
Well, those are the biggest stories in entertainment. Of course, I am Sam Dandy.
And that's all the news we have for you tonight. But before we go, a quick reminder of our top stories. Nationwide strike looms as university lecturers join forces to demand government's implementation of all agreements. And the news from Benue State is that the Assembly Speaker has suspended his predecessor over alleged attempts to impeach Governor Hyacinth Alia. Off our shores, we brought you news that President Donald Trump has held a cabinet meeting amid brewing standoff at Federal Reserve following sacking of Governor Lisa Cook. I'd love to hear from you as always. Please send your eyewitness report to the number being displayed now on your screen. You can also do that by following us on all our social media platforms at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. As always, many thanks for being here. We appreciate your time. Have a good night.